Hi, friends. This is your pal, Scott Garibay. And today we're going to talk about American politics and we're going to talk about Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. So I skipped Kendrick Lamar's halftime show because I don't consider Kendrick Lamar a real rapper, right? I had to sit through his album before GNX and it was pure garbage. Not a joke. He recorded a fight with his girlfriend and just put it on the album. And then he recorded a therapy session with his therapist and put it on the album. I come to like rap for hardcore street beats, not for tired therapy sessions like of millionaire, not rappers. I don't know what he is, but he ain't a rapper anymore. My take is that Kendrick Lamar is not really a rapper anymore. Now, why are we talking about this, right? Well, because Josh Johnson corrected me and he said, nope, you wrong. You wrong, son. All right, let's get into this. So Josh Johnson is the best stand-up comedian in the world right now. He has surpassed Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is phenomenal. He was the GOAT, right? But I'm telling you, Josh Johnson is the GOAT stand-up comedian. Brick wall and a microphone. Ain't nobody in the world better right now. Ain't nobody in the world ever been better. He is brilliant. Now, what's really fascinating is I think what Josh Johnson is really doing is Socrates, who are some of the other, Greek philosophers, um, Plato, those guys, they would just like kind of stand up in the forum and throw down. Right? That's what Josh Johnson is doing now. He's absolutely brilliant. And the other thing is he's really doing something in comedy that has never been done before. Everybody is like, oh, what's the model today? And actually, Dave Chappelle built this model. Dave Chappelle got paid $60 million for a comedy special. Now, he broke it up into two parts. You could, dicker over whether he made 30 or 60. But he made the model. And so every comedian now works real hard, works for 6 months or 12 months or 18 months, builds a tight 60, right? And then does their Netflix special, becomes famous, becomes rich, and then books a movie and a show and a sitcom, right? It's the same model, right? Now, it's not easy to do, and it's impressive when somebody does it, but it's been seen, right? It's nothing new, right? It's nothing really special, right? It's just not. It's not a thing anymore, right? It's a thing, but it's not unique. It's not special. Josh Johnson ain't doing that, right? He's not building a tight 60. He's just going around the country and selling places out and then putting the same thing up for a week later. It's unbelievable. His model, and he's going to the forum and he's talking to the people. He's building an entire new model for comedy. And there might be no one who follows him, but he is brilliant. And he said Kendrick Lamar's halftime show was brilliant. So if Josh Johnson said it was brilliant, and I said it wasn't even worth watching, Josh Johnson is right because he's smarter than me. Okay, all right. So let's talk about what he said. So what Josh Johnson said is the reason that he loved Kendrick Lamar's halftime show was that it was so over the top and so like directed right at the culture, right? Which I didn't even think Kendrick Lamar even had the possibility of doing anymore. Come on, this is the guy who, Hollywood executives call up and say, hey, can we pay you a few million to put one or two songs in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? Like this guy is like in the culture. Like this dude is not even remotely street at this point, right? Like very unstreet, right? He's so unstreet that Andrew Schultz insulted him insulted him bad, and he didn't even have any clapback, right? Like it's wild, So, but Josh Johnson's like, no. And so what Josh Johnson said is, if you were an African American and you heard this, what you really heard was Kendrick Lamar pushing against all cultures other than primarily Caucasian culture, pushing against their perception of the African American culture. And he said what Kendrick Lamar really did was say, hey, you can't tell me I'm being too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to be reckless. I'm going to be ghetto. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Now, I don't know how a guy who's literally living in a mansion can still get ghetto, but Josh Johnson is saying it can happen, right? Josh Johnson is saying that Kendrick Lamar is going against corporate culture and is saying something with significance and weight. That's very interesting, right? He's also saying that this was reckless, right? Like that this was pushing up against real people with real agendas, right? And that means it's worth looking at. You know, that what Kendrick Lamar did is worth looking at, taking another look. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like subscribing and have a fetch millennium.